Hello everyone, my name is Ryan Cam, and Unbreakable is better than you remember. This was directed by M. Night Shyamalan. We know who he is, both for some good and a lot of bad, and this movie starred Bruce Willis, Samuel L. Jackson, and Robin Wright, among others. This was Shyamalan's second movie. It was his first after The Sixth Sense. You may have heard of it, and it was released in the year 2000. It tells the story of David Dunn, played by Bruce Willis, a security guard who, on the surface, seems pretty normal, until he is involved in a massive train wreck. Not like a metaphorical train wreck, like an actual train wreck. But not only does David survive the train wreck, he survives without a single scratch on him. This arouses the attention of Elijah Prince, played by Samuel L. Jackson, a man who suffers from a rare brittle bone disease. Like, seriously, you could probably pat him on the back too hard and, break off his shoulder blade. It's not pretty. Prince is a lover of comic books, so much so that he believes that they are a mirror into our history, so to speak, and believes that David Dunn is a true, bona fide superhero, though Dunn has his doubts. However, the more questions Dunn asks, including, how many days have I been sick? None. In a car wreck that ended his football career, he was somehow uninjured, though his wife, played by Robin Wright, was. He begins to put two and two together until he realizes that he may be a superhero after all. M. Night Shyamalan gets a lot of undue flack. Now, some flack he absolutely deserves. Let's not get that twisted. What I call his three films of terror, or the unholy trinity, I'm going back and forth on both of those, are some of the worst movies I've ever seen. The Happening I have not seen for a while, but yes, it is as bad as people make it out to be. The movie I shall be referring to as TLA is my worst movie that I've ever seen. As a matter of fact, I'm not even going to be looking at the poster for fear of just going berserk on this entire room. I'm actually in a rare good mood today, so I'm just going to say TLA and move on. As a matter of fact, future me, take the poster off the screen. Thank you. And then After Earth, aka Will Smith trying to turn his son into a superstar and failing miserably. Bless his soul. I have often contended that M. Night Shyamalan, when he makes a good movie, he makes a great movie, and Unbreakable is one of those great movies. This came directly after The Sixth Sense, actually the year afterwards. The Sixth Sense, you may have heard of. It was a pretty big deal. I reviewed it as part of the AFI project, link here if you are interested. But Shyamalan, because he did so well with Sixth Sense, Disney, through their banner of Touchstone, was like, okay, Knight, you've got our next movie. What do you got? And Shyamalan had the idea for Unbreakable as a big comic book fan himself. I think that this movie is way ahead of its time. It came out in the year 2000. We were just still coming down from the high, or the low in this case, of Joel Schumacher's Batman, and just that completely ruining things for comic book movies for a while, even though I enjoy Batman and Robin as a so bad it's good movie. But in 1998, we ended up getting Blade, and in the year 2000, we ended up getting X-Men. So comic book movies were slowly crawling their way out of the pit, Dark Knight Rises style. They weren't there yet, but they were moving in the right direction. And Unbreakable, for not being attached to any existing comic book license, has to be one of the more underrated superhero movies ever. Bruce Willis is great as David Dunn. It's rather unfortunate that Bruce Willis has gotten the reputation of being in 24 straight-to-DVD movies nowadays. It's really sad because when he is motivated, he's actually quite good. This movie does a great job of planting the seed in your mind, along with Dunn's, that, hey, maybe this superhero thing isn't as far-fetched as you imagine. Samuel L. Jackson is predictably great as Elijah Prince. He's kind of weird, but you also respect the hustle at first. The twist is a whole different ball of wax, but he's one of those guys where you immediately feel sympathy over. Brittle bone disease, I imagine, is just no fun. When you first see Prince, you kind of think he's a bit of a nut bar, but the more context you see and the more you marinate on certain things, it all kind of falls into place, if that makes any sense. Robin Wright is really good as David Dunn's estranged wife. She's not in the movie all that much, but it's Robin Wright, so it does tend to be really good. In my research, I found that this role was originally supposed to be played by Julianne Moore, which sounds like a good idea on paper, but Robin Wright did a really good job here. Even Spencer Treat Clark as David's son is really good. One of my favorite scenes in the movie involves him. It involves him and a loaded gun. If you know, you know. And just like every Shyamalan movie, there is a big twist. And I will not spoil it here. All that I will say is go watch the movie for yourself. But this has got to be up there in the realm of the Sixth Sense twist, in Shyamalan's just better twists. Because Shyamalan's twists kind of became a parody of themselves at one point. But after the Sixth Sense just blew everyone away, everyone was a little more reticent towards it. But I thought this was handled just as well as the Sixth Sense one. And honestly, I could talk about this movie for days. This is so underrated. I don't really see a ton of people talking about this, and I honestly think it should. M. Night Shyamalan, broke his back trying to make this as good as possible. The cinematography is really on point. The score by the legend James Newton Howard is great. There is a lot of symbolism and plants and payoffs that do really well. The twist is good. It can be argued that Unbreakable is M. Night Shyamalan's best movie that's not The Sixth Sense. If you've never seen this movie or haven't seen this movie for a long time, I can't recommend it enough. But that is all for me. Thank you so much as always for watching. Next Sunday, I'm going to be encountering a bit of a weird movie for the first time. It's a Darren Aronofsky joint. I'm going to be watching for the first time Requiem for a Dream. If you like this video, please be sure to leave a like, comment your thoughts down below, and if you like this video and you want to see more like it, hit the subscribe button and click the bell to allow notifications. That way when a new video drops, you'll be the first to know about it. My name is Ryan Gam, and I'll see you in the next one.